Hey everyone out there in GMAT land. This is going to be my response to what do you do on the test day? What's your routine? Do you eat anything or any special stuff for your GMAT test? Personally, I first sleep. I never worried about sleep the night before the test. I knew it was kind of a big day, and so sometimes I'd be stressed and I wouldn't be able to sleep very well. So I just counted on not getting a good night's sleep, and in order to balance that out, I'd make sure that I got good sleep the entire week before the night before the test. That way, I felt rested, even if on the day before I was a little wired because I didn't sleep much. As far as my routine for the day, I took the GMAT twice, and both times I took it as early as I could in the morning. I think it was about 8:30. That wasn't an unusually early time for me, so it wasn't like some special thing I was getting up for. Also, I wasn't waiting for the first half of the day in order to take the exam. I think that would be a little bit stressful if I took it in the afternoon. Then I'd just be worrying about it for the whole morning. So I just wanted to get up, get it done with, and get out of there. Um, for the routine on that day, as far as like what to eat and kind of what to do or any little rituals like that, I found that anytime that I did things like that, it would psych me out and make me uh, put undue pressure on myself for the exam. So really, I just woke up and did anything that I would do normally on that day. I usually take a run in the morning. So on those days, I ran in the morning and I hardly ever eat breakfast. So I didn't eat breakfast before the exam. I just tried to not change anything significant because I wanted to kind of treat it as a normal day that I was just happening to take an exam on that day. And I think that lessened the stress a little bit. Um, as far as eating during the exam, I did bring a couple of granola bars to eat during the breaks. And what I would recommend is, I mean, those worked well for me. I would just recommend eat if you're hungry. If you're not hungry, don't force yourself to eat. Don't think like I have to eat in order to get brain power in order to function well in this test. Um, Again, I think that's just something uh, that you could do that would do pressure on you to perform well. Like you have to get everything right in order to do well on this exam. Anytime that you can eliminate that kind of stuff, that's great. Um, so that's what I recommend for that. As far as studying before the exam, I found when I was an undergrad that anytime that I studied all the way up until an exam, like I finished studying, I closed my books, and then I walked over to the exam and took it, I always did worse than if I had stopped studying like earlier in the day or stopped studying the day before. And I think also studying up until the end kind of psyched me out. I felt like I needed to keep all this information in my brain in order to get it out on the test. But if you've been studying for the GMAT pretty consistently, or if you've been working really hard, then I don't think that any last minute thing that you try and cram into your brain at the last second is really going to help all that much. And it might even hurt you. It might even psych you out, feeling like you really need to remember these things and getting so nervous that you have to memorize all of this stuff. So I wouldn't even recommend just not even studying the day before. If you do study the day before, I definitely wouldn't study like during that morning or in the hours leading up to the exam. I would just um, get to a point where you say, hey, you know what? I've studied, I've done my work. Now it's time to perform. And nothing that I do now is going to change that. So just enjoy your last day before you take the exam. I find that it relaxes me and it helps me perform better um, than if I'm so nervous. So in short, good sleep the week before. I wouldn't really worry about having any specific routine that's specific to test day. I just try and make it a normal day. Um, Try not to study too much. Just enjoy the relaxation before the exam, knowing that you've already studied pretty well, and then eat if you feel like it. If you don't, then don't. Just anything you can do to relieve the stress and give you a good test day experience will make it all the better, I think. And that's my advice, and I hope it helps.